Hello! The update 4 of the KeySwitch Expression Map is released, and I want to introduce you to the new features in a short video. When you load the new version into your Ableton project, the first thing you will notice is the new interface of the KeySwitch editor. On the one hand, it is now arranged as a clear list for a better overview and additionally saves space in Ableton's device view like this. But the new arrangement was also necessary because, as you can see here in the menu, you can now not only define 27 key switches, but up to 64. You can navigate through the 64 key switches here to edit them. New is also that you can now easily change the order of the articulations by moving the mouse cursor between the number of the key switch and its name. And after a short moment, small dots appear, and you can move the key switch up or down to a new position. Furthermore, the Save button has disappeared because the device now automatically saves all changes as soon as you have entered a name for a key switch. As in the previous version, the parameters of the defined key switches are highlighted for a better overview. If it anyways gets too confusing at some point, you can use this eraser here to delete all parameter values of the key switches that are not active, meaning those for which no name is entered. On the right side, there is in addition now a small field for comments. Here you can, for instance, write down the MIDI controls of a library or other notes to quickly recall them when you open the project after a longer period of time. The navigation buttons for switching between the interfaces moved and are now all together on the left side in one place, just like in Ableton's instrument and effect racks. Also improved is the heart of the KeySwitch Expression Map, the KeySwitch controller. Previously, the key switches were only listed on the surface of the piano. Now you can click directly on named pads with the mouse to switch them. For orientation, you can give the pads different colors. Depending on your taste, there are 3 different color palettes available: dark colors paired with neutral gray patches, different shades of blue, red, green, and purple, or you can select bright colors that match Ableton's color theme. With these 2 buttons, you can either delete only the color of a single pad or all at once. Here you can adjust the justification of the text and the text size if wished. And at the button you can decide whether the number or the note of the key switch should be displayed on the pads or neither of the 2. Here on the left side you can show or hide the piano, or display the custom bank with up to 8 MIDI CCs, which you can define yourself. The interface for the MIDI controls has also changed a bit. The 3 banks for instant mapping are now arranged in rows of 4 dials each. This corresponds to the arrangement of the device controls on most MIDI controllers, and like this it makes it easier to find the right knobs intuitively. And in addition, they are now also highlighted with different shades of gray in the background. On the right side, you can select which MIDI controls should be shown in the display and choose whether their values should be displayed as a filled rectangle or a discrete line. Another new feature is that the values of the MIDI CCs are now not only displayed. You can also use the display itself as an XY controller. So you can operate 2 MIDI CCs simultaneously with the mouse, which can be very useful if you want to record the dynamics and expression of an instrument, for example. As in the previous versions of the KeySwitch Expression Map, the small yellow lines here show you quarters, which are the values 32, 64 and 96. And the black lines divide the display into thirds. In general, these lines are mainly to help you quickly see which articulation is currently active in the VST player when using A/B switches, but also when using performance legato patches, for example. Therefore, you can display the note velocity as well if needed. And finally, here are 3 new features that some of you may have been waiting for. First, you can now use the KeySwitch Expression Map for instruments with MPE. If you activate this button, it passes through the MPE signal from your keyboard or Ableton's MIDI clip to your instrument. Secondly, it is now possible to export presets to archive your key switches and settings and then easily use them again in other Ableton projects. If you press the export button, a pop-up window will open and you can save the settings as a text file in JSON file format on your computer. These files you can now also share with other users on the homepage and in return import presets from them. This way not everybody has to start from scratch and you can download ready-made presets of libraries and start making music right away. To import, just press the import button and select the file which you want to load. Or if you have already downloaded version 4.2, you can drag and drop the file directly from the Finder or Windows Explorer onto the KeySwitch and Expression Map. There's also a separate video on this topic that explains in detail where you can download presets and how to import them into your Ableton project. You can also find an additional video about the last feature. With version 4.2, the KeySwitch and Expression Map gets support by a new colleague, the KeySwitch and Expression Map router. It's a free additional tool that allows you to receive the MIDI signal of a keyboard or MIDI controller directly without passing through the MIDI clip in the track. This allows you, for example, to use a second keyboard that exclusively controls the KeySwitch and Expression Map. Or you can use it if you don't have a MIDI controller with a control surface for instant mapping. But also if you prefer to record the MIDI CCs in the arrangement view as you would do it with a MIDI clip, by arming the track and, for example, using the mod wheel on the keyboard to record the dynamics of an instrument as usual. Have fun with the new version, see you in the next video.